In today's video tutorial, I'm going to be decorating these 3 funfetti cake layers, and then we're going to top it all off with a sweet unicorn cake topper. So I am now going to be applying a layer of frosting to our already crumb-coated cake. You can see a few jimmies through the frosting, but we're going to cover that up. So I have our classic vanilla buttercream here, and all that I'm doing is I'm going to apply with my little rounded spatula buttercream, some blue, some white. And if you'd rather just do entirely blue all the way around, that would be pretty too. Or you could swirl your blue and white together in a bowl and apply it with a smooth finish. But I kind of like the textured look. And we're just going to kind of blend the colors into each other for just a different look and some nice texture. So it's up to you how much blue you want to add. I think we'll just kind of do maybe a little bit more white than blue, but overall it will have the look of a sky. So this is just a kind of fun technique. I do think it helps to have already crumb coated your cake and then let it chill so it's nice and firm. That way you don't have to worry about accidentally swiping away frosting from your first layer. But this gives us a nice little mix of color. Okay, so I'm gradually going to make my way all the way around, and you see I'm just alternating between my spatulas and between our colors. So now that I've made it all the way around, covering the sides with the blue and white buttercream, I am working on the top of the cake now. So I'm using a tip 12, the Wilton tip, medium-sized round tip, and I'm just making a lot of clouds. And I chose the 12 tip because it's really a common one that you all probably have, but there are larger round tips that you could also use for clouds. If you hold the piping tip far enough away from the surface of the cake, it allows it to really fill out. So I'm just going to cover the entire top of the cake with these kind of billowy puffs of buttercream, and we'll meet right back. Okay, so we are working on a unicorn cake topper. This is going to be just a sweet and simple flat cutout. You can see I drew a little template that I'm going to be using, and I always recommend to make 2 whenever you're doing cutouts, just in case one of them breaks, because they do take a little while to dry. So I'm just going in with an X-Acto knife. This is gum paste, rolled to about 1/8 of an inch thickness. If you don't have gum paste, you'll want to knead some tylose into your fondant, and that will give you something really close to gum paste consistency. So I'm going to carefully move this to our parchment lined cookie sheet. And while it's still soft, if you think of it, I like to go ahead and add an impression for the ear and also to create some lines in the horn. And you can do this with a knife if it's just a shallow impression, or you can do it with a toothpick. And then I'm going to go in on each side and just kind of press slightly in. Yeah. Okay, so I think he looks really cute. He's going to need to dry at least 24 hours to be on the safe side. If you're used to working with gum paste, you might know how long it normally takes you. Some areas that are more humid would take longer for the gum paste to firm up. But I'm going to grab some cutouts that we made yesterday, and we'll meet right back. Okay, so these are 2 unicorns that I made yesterday. This one I just was experimenting to see what kind of design I wanted to go with, so this mane is still soft. Okay, so for the anchor, which we're using lollipop sticks, I'm just going to cut a couple of strips of gum paste or fondant with tylose, whatever you're working with. So I'm just going to take our lollipop stick and also a little bit of piping gel. If you don't have piping gel, you can just very, very, very lightly dampen where you're going to be placing this.
With water.
With just a little water if that's what you have. Okay, let me also add a little piping gel to our strip of gum paste. And then we're just going to kind of sandwich our lollipop stick in between. And so I have a decent amount of stick that's supporting the unicorn, but also a few inches at least that it will be going into the cake. And so now it's kind of tricky, or it just seems a little awkward when you're doing it, but we're just pressing that strip of gum paste all around the lollipop stick so that it's fully supported on both sides. So that's what it looks like. And you won't be able to see it from the front, of course. So I'm going to do the same thing on the back leg. Okay. So I'm going to let this dry for several minutes until I really feel like it's firm enough that I can easily pick it up, and we will meet right back. Okay, so I just ripped up a few paper towels to give this kind of a fluffy place to sit. The reason I did that is because you can see this, where the lollipop stick is raised. So I don't want to worry about snapping our little horse by applying too much pressure. So I've fluffed it up under where it doesn't have a lollipop stick. And now we are going to take our fondant. I'm going to apply the mane. So we're just going to do that with all the colors of the rainbow. I'm just going to lightly apply a little piping gel. And another thing I didn't mention, which is just a small little detail, but you might want to do this also. You can see I have a crease right here. When my horse was still soft, I just added a little crease. You can see it on this one too. So just optional little detail. And I'm just going to start by pinching off some of our red fondant. This is fondant, but you could also use Tylose. You can see that my fingers are tinted with all of these different colors. But I'm just going to pinch off a small ball of our red fondant, roll it in between my fingers, and then I'm just going to take a toothpick to make an impression. And you can kind of curl it if you want to, adjust the length if you want to, and that's it. So we're going to go through all the colors of the rainbow using that same technique. So this is just easy as can be. You could also use a extruder if you like a thinner look to the mane, but this to me is easy and also cute. Okay, so we'll meet back once we've made it all the way down. Okay, so I've made it through the mane. I wanted to show you, in some places you might need to fill in. You can see on some places I doubled up on my colors. But I think it's a cute look. And we're doing the same thing for the tail. It's just that it's longer pieces that we're dealing with. And I've brushed the tail with piping gel, and now we're just kind of layering all of our colors on. So we'll meet back in just a few minutes. Okay, now for the horse's face, I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of light pink petal dust to give it rosy cheeks. And this is just a dry brush. You can always tap off the excess if you're worried about it being dark. And then I'm gonna go in with a food writer pen, and we'll just do a little closed eye. I'm being careful not to press down on the horse because I don't want it to break, or the unicorn. And then I'm going to give her some little eyelashes. Okay, and if you want to, I don't really think it's necessary, but you can dust just a little bit into the ear of pink if you want. Okay, now for the unicorn horn, I'm going to be brushing it with gold. I'm going to create a gold with my gold luster dust. This is Rolcom Super Gold. In my palette, I have some vodka in this little well. I'll just put some gold powder here, and I just dampen it with the vodka until it creates a paint. But I'm going to do this outside because Mom is allergic, so that is what is happening. But if you don't have the gold, don't worry about it. This would be really cute also just with a yellow horn. So we'll meet back in just a second. Okay, so here's our sweet little unicorn. I painted it gold. I also just dusted over it with a dry brush with more gold powder just to make it sparkle a little bit more. Okay, so we are ready to place her onto the cake. And I probably could have trimmed my lollipop sticks a little bit more. I'm gonna have to puff the clouds up a little bit around the bottom. Okay, so I think she looks really, really cute. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do a light sprinkle of our rainbow jimmies that we used for the funfetti batter. And that just gives her a little more color too around her, which I think is cute. Okay, so our cake is finished. I love how this came out. I think our unicorn cake topper is so sweet, and as you saw, it is very simple to create. So I hope you'll give this design a try. Thanks for watching.